was always the case. You remember when Gerald fought in the UFC?
Like activity, you'll love newcomer Gerald Streben. Speaking of speed, pace, and aggressiveness.
UFC. It was always the case when Gerald was was he a black belt back then or a brown belt?
No, he was a brown belt.
Really good jiu-jitsu guy though, but his fucking striking coach had him convinced.
It was a Muay Thai.
A battle of lightweights here, and youngsters indeed.
Fucking striking coach had him convinced that he was
Muay
a Thai
guy.
boxer.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to go out there and you're going to kick. And I remember Eddie and I would train, I would watch him hit the bag and hit the mitts and stuff. And I was like, man, there are some scary guys in the UFC. And he got a real scary one, and Josh Thompson.
Well, yeah.
And Josh Thompson was like, yep, none of that. Crack.
No, it wasn't. It didn't go down like that. It didn't go. No. What ended up happening? No, what ended up happening is Gerald's jiu-jitsu is Gerald Streben, as we're talking about. He was my first student. Before 10th Planet, I was teaching jiu-jitsu to a guy named Gerald Streben. He was a blue belt at the time. And I brought him up, showed him, he got really good at the twister, really good at rubber guard. He first meat hook, rubber guard triangle in MMA history in a Gladiator Challenge show. He was kicking ass, and then he fought Jean Silva in England, in London, and it was a spectacular match. Joe showed that fight to Dana White. Dana White gave him a shot, gave Josh Thompson. Boom, right off the bat. He started working Muay Thai with this Muay Thai coach, and it was 6 months. He was training 6 months with them, right? And and he wrestled in high school as well, so he'd been grappling total at that point.
Is that Joey?
What do you
breathe into them?
But anyway, so he was, and it's an interesting point. I was just thinking about this. It's the exact same thing. It's when a striking, like let's say I got a striker, Muay Thai came in. He'd been doing Muay Thai for 10 years, and he wanted to learn the ground. And he was doing MMA. He's already fighting MMA. It comes up a lot. I'm going to show him jiu-jitsu. I'm going to be in his corner. I'm not going to be telling him to take his ass down and work his fucking jiu-jitsu. Pull guard. I'm like, it's been 6 months. Let's relax.
But egos get involved.
What I want to see is that dude win with his Muay Thai, and it gives me another fight to get his jiu-jitsu together. The longer we avoid the jiu-jitsu, in my eyes, the better. We got away with another one. Now we have another 4 or 5 months to work on the jiu-jitsu.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it.
But there's a lot of strikers out there. There's a lot of striking coaches out there that'll take some grappler in, teach him striking for 6 months, and then corner him in an MMA fight and like instruct him to stand with this motherfucker.
Do you remember what he said?
And I gotta pull the guy to the side and say, dude, don't listen to this guy. You're not standing with this motherfucker.
Do you remember what he said?
You know how many times I had to say that to like my guys? I go, don't listen to this motherfucker.
Always.
You're taking this motherfucker
Even
Hodger
Gracie came out throwing
Do you
jabs.
remember what he said? Do you remember what he said to him?
He's Bangkok ready.
Yes.
In 6 months,
Yes.
he said it was Bangkok ready. He's going to go out there. So this is what ends up happening. Luckily, hey, but you know what? It was a good thing. It's a good thing because this is what happened. Is he had him so believing that he was Bangkok ready after 6 months of Muay Thai that when he did the walkout in the UFC, he came out with
the Muay Thai
full
thing?
Muay Thai
Yes.
shit. Dude, with the Muay Thai headband,
I
the
love
Muay Thai, a bicep bracelets or whatever the fuck they are. Dude,
Traditional
full Muay
shit.
Thai garb, dancing and doing the Muay Thai thing. He was in the octagon and he went around the octagon and blessed
Doing this?
Yes, doing that.
Doing this?
And Josh Thompson sitting there, and I talked to Josh Thompson since then.
He's a
and,
killer.
Josh Thompson wrestled in high school, and he's a really good striker. He was fucking up people off his back. He was triangling people. We knew all about Josh Thompson. Gerald was not, he was not in the best frame of mind for that fight. You know what I mean? Because Josh Thompson was a fucking killer back then. He was a killer.
Well, he was in his prime back then. That was Josh when he was one of the top like 5 or 6 guys in the division before the UFC. Before the UFC got rid of the 155-pound division, it was him and Eve Edwards. Yeah. And Eve Edwards knocked him out. That was like.
Eve got his back, and Eve took him down. Oh, look how strong Josh is. He just stands right back up. Oh! Big head kick. Down goes Thompson. It's over.
Eve Edwards became the uncrowned king.
So this is what happened. So luckily, and this is according to Josh Thompson told me, Josh goes, dude, I was so worried about his stand-up based on all that Muay Thai ritual stuff that when we saw the fight, my whole thing was how
Get
are
his
we
ass
possibly
down.
No. The whole thing was for sure Josh Thompson's not going to want to go to the ground with Gerald. That's where all his good shit is. He's fucking people up in MMA. All his fights up until the UFC was fucking people up with his jiu-jitsu. So how are we going to get the fight to the ground? We were thinking about pulling an elaborate, unorthodox guard pull. How are we going to do it? That's what I was thinking. I go, because 6 months, I go, I know he thinks he's Bangkok ready. That's 6 months, man.
Bangkok ready.
I mean? So
it's a great t-shirt.
So
Bangkok ready.
Josh takes him down. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck? Thank you. He takes Gerald down because he's so worried about his Muay Thai. And Gerald, dude, right away throws up a hellfire with his guard. He threw a lot of heat. It was pretty badass to see. But at the end of the day, first, he almost had him in an armbar. Josh pulls out. And then there's like a scramble on the ground. Gerald goes for a leg lock because he finally pulls out of his guard. And then Gerald was really good at leg locks. And he went for a leg lock. And then Josh Thompson hit him like in the back of the head and knocked him out.
Josh is a killer.
Yeah, that was one of those. Yeah, that was one of those.
Final instructions given in the black corner.
All right, here we go, here we go. Are you ready?
And the finishing machine.
Let's get it on, come on.
And here we go.
Again, Josh Thompson's got the superior stand-up skills, and Gerald's going to look to taste this to the ground. Oh, nice takedown.
Quick pace to start things here, spinning and working. Relentless is Josh Thompson.
Gerald's got a hold of a leg. Gerald Streetman's got excellent leg submissions if he doesn't get bombed on from here. That's the thing about going for legs. You leave yourself open to shots. We saw that with Ian Freeman and Frank Mir. He's got it here.
And he's spinning. He spins with it to Josh Thompson. And into the close guard.
Gerald Streetman's got sick ground jiu-jitsu. His no-gi jiu-jitsu, it's all geared for mixed martial arts. This is all stuff that Eddie Bravo's invented.
We talked about Arturo Gatti-like aggressiveness.
He's looking for the omoplata.
And Matt Serra, we see that with Gerald Streetman too. Very
He's looking for the omoplata here. Oh, Josh got out of it. And he falls right back into Gerald's guard. He's not afraid of Gerald's guard. This could be a big mistake for Josh Thompson.
As advertised, Streetman will rapid fire his submission attempts. One after another after another.
He's got to clear his right leg. That's what he's got to do right now. He's got to clear his right leg. Oh, he's got the go-go plata. He's got a go-go plata in.
You got it, brother, you got it.
Good punches by Josh Thompson. Josh avoids it, and Gerald goes to the leg.
Let go of it. Let go of it.
That's the punk. You see him smirk at him like, you're not going to tap me with that. Uh-oh, he's got his back.
Basically, the punk says he'll slip in a little something that would make him a punk when he's practicing, training, working out, whatever it is. He's named punk for nothing. We know that.
Gerald's done, Josh Weather's done an excellent job of avoiding all these submissions.
Give it up and go. There you go.
Josh on top here.
As our fans know, Joe, a submission can happen as quick as the knockout.
Absolutely.
Split-second efficiency. Right hand. It's a little rabbit punch. Streetman tries to work his ground game.
Streetman, she keeps going for those legs.
Connecting big time. And now he's trying to finish. Connects with Streetman. And now Thompson's trying to finish.
Streetman's got to be very careful here. He's rocked, and he's got his back turned to him. Josh can finish him here.
Finish the fight.
Streetman's curled him up. He's got to be careful that Big John McCarthy doesn't stop this.
He caught him
He's
with
unanswered
that punch.
blows.
And it is over.
That's it.
And it's over.